Sewcial Hour Podcast, a podcast for sewists by sewists. I'm your host, Bethany.
And I'm Audra. And we are actually recording together.
In person
from my living room couch.
Yeah.
So if you see like a dog's head pop up every now and then, that is Walter. He is our lovable 8-year-old rescue.
He's our mascot.
And this is actually his turf, so he might just come up and
took his seat, didn't we?
We did.
We gave him the boot. Maybe he'll come over here and snuggle when he forgives us.
Yeah.
So we are talking about what today?
We are talking about making for others.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
But is also stressful.
Yeah.
And also requires some internal self-evaluation.
It definitely requires some willpower.
Yeah.
And learning to like say no and not feel guilty about it. And there's a lot of aspects, right?
Yeah. And the willpower to persevere, because sometimes we might commit to something and then decide partway through we don't love the idea, but you've committed.
Yeah.
And also, we're going to channel some Disney princesses today in our recommendations on how to approach this. So first, let's start with our icebreaker, which is, what Disney princess do you best relate to?
I don't know if I best relate to, but my favorite growing up was Ariel from The Little Mermaid.
It's the red hair.
She was my favorite. I wish I had red hair. I tried to color my hair red once, and then the next day it was gone.
Yeah.
My hair will not hold red. And it's probably for the best. But I mean, my favorite costume that my mom ever made me growing up was my Ariel costume, which I was telling you and Charlie about last night. The detail that my mom made it. I'll see if I can find a picture and post it in the Facebook thread. I'm pretty sure we have it somewhere, but I don't know. I love some of the other ones, but I don't know, her journey to find herself and like was so like focused on like, this is who I am. This is who I want to be. Mm-hmm. That really inspired me because everybody else in her world was telling her no, no, no. And I don't know. I kind of related to that.
Yeah.
I always pushed the boundaries of what people wanted me to be or do. And I feel like I'm still figuring that out.
Yeah, that still tracks.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It totally does.
What about you?
Belle.
Yeah.
I loved Belle.
I do too.
Belle loved to read. Mm-hmm. She always had her books. And she had the fire to stand up for what she thought was right. And
start a revolution, didn't she?
I loved Belle. She I don't know, the whole journey. It was always Belle. Because I always like imagined myself in the blue dress with like the white kind of apron and carrying the books around and blocking out all the negativity and drama to just be in her own little fantasy world. And I just always loved that. So.
No, I know. Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. So in the Facebook group, The Sewcial Sewists, go over to our thread for today's episode and let us know which Disney princess you most related to or relate to now. You know, there's another one. Penelope from Wreck-It Ralph.
She's great.
She's great. And I feel like there's a little bit of Penelope in me.
She is fun.
She's a little out there.
Yeah, she's a blast. She's an absolute blast. Wreck-It Ralph is just great.
It's such a good movie. All right, so making for others.
Making for others. So I think the first thing that we're going to touch on is battling the have to versus want to.
Right.
Because I think when we make
the guilt trip.
when we make for others as creatives, people ask us to do stuff. And then there's also do we feel like we have to because of X? So
feel obligated, right?
My friend is getting married and I feel like I have to make her a quilt, or someone's having a baby and I feel like I have to make something.
Yeah. It's
that have to versus do you actually want to? And I think that's a battle that we as creatives all fight because there's time, there's cost, there's all those things involved. And
how much notice they gave you if they requested something. But like, again, and there's also the variable of friend versus family as well. Like if a friend asked me to do something, it just depends. But if a family asks me to do something, I have a harder time saying no. But I've also kind of let my family know, like, I really don't, they know how busy I am, but they still, and I can't say no to them sometimes.
Well, and there's also the quintessential, like, yes, I sew, no, I won't hem your pants.
Yeah. The only person whose clothes I hem are my dad's.
Mm, yeah.
Because he gets so excited when he gets his shirt back, and then he talks about it. Because his shirt will be a little too long. You know, they kind of start to shrink. And so I had to, like, hem off, like, a couple of inches off the bottom of his, like, Carhartt shirts. And it was a curve hem. And the first one I was like, is it okay if I go straight across, or do you really want to keep the curve? He's like, straight across is fine because I'm just going to tuck them in. I was like, okay, cool. And the next time he's like, do you mind following the curve? I'm like, that's fine too. So, I mean, it took me all of 5 minutes to do, but I will admit that they did kind of hang in my, you know, laundry room for a minute before I was like, I really need to just knock those out. Because I'm not yearning to do them, even though they literally take me 5 minutes.
Yeah. Full disclosure, a button came off of one of Dave's shirts like last winter, and I think it was this winter before I put the button on. Yeah. And it's a button. A button. It took me a whole 5 minutes to do, but it just kind of getting bumped down the line. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I think sometimes when they're really easy, they kind of get bumped because you're like, oh, that'll take no time. Oh, that'll take no time. So you just keep getting bumped down the list.
And buried under the other projects that you're working on. Exactly. And then you're like, ooh. Like, I never finished the pajama pants a couple years ago. Like, I did everything but one pair. And they're still sitting there cut 2 Christmases ago.
Oh, for like Christmas matching PJs?
Yeah. Because they weren't going to be in town so I was like, oh, I don't have to get theirs done before Christmas because I'm not going to be there. And then never did them.
So what is your mental, so when we talk about the have to versus want to, what is your mental thought process of deciding whether to do something? So good friend getting married, do you go, oh, I got to make a quilt? Or do you kind of have like a process to be like, oh, maybe I should make them something, or I'd rather just give them cash, or the registry sounds like a good idea. Yeah. Like, what's your mental process?
I think for friends, for like wedding showers, bridal showers, baby showers, things like that, I try to, my first assessment is, how much time do I have and what do I have going on? If I'm traveling a lot, like I really assess like my time, like, is it realistic? The second thing I always do is I mix between me made and something not me made. So if the me made doesn't get done, I have something. So for example, my sister-in-law, when she had her baby shower for my nephew, I made a rope basket that had fabric wrapped around the rope as I sewed it. It's a big basket that I make. It takes me hours and hours and hours, but I love doing them. I just don't love doing them all the time. But I made it because I thought, oh, this is a great basket. I can put stuff in it as the gift. It's a great presentation. I don't have to physically wrap anything. I hate wrapping stuff and I hate a gift bag. So I was like, I'll just make the basket and then put all the other stuff in it. And if I don't finish the basket, I can go get a little basket from like Hobby Lobby or something. You know, they always have a big selection. And I can make it look cute. And then, you know, she wanted everybody to bring a book. And so I did a book and I did a few other little things. But I try to mix so that if for some reason it doesn't, my whole gift isn't surrounded by the me made. So I try to mix it. And what's funny is with that gift, I made the basket. I hand crocheted a puppy dog.
Oh, wow.
Which I had started, and I had just started learning to crochet. So it barely got done. And then, and it's still his favorite little puppy dog. He carries it around everywhere, which makes it so worth it. And then, you know, they make these little hangers that you can put in the closets that separate like 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, those kind of things. So you can see the difference between all the onesies and the clothes. Yeah. We have a laser Glowforge cutting machine. And so I laser cut those and wrap those in a bow and put those in. So there were several other things. And then his first house plant, because she loves house plants. So I got a baby safe house plant for his room. So like it was a combination of things, but a few things were me made. But again, it's not all of it. I don't put the pressure to do all of it. I would never do a whole quilt.
Well, see,
I would never do a whole quilt for anybody.
Well, and I love that approach of there's something of me, but something that maybe you registered for, and it's a nice combination of things. And it's interesting, I think, as we progress through our respective areas of expertise, I think the hunger to make for others is actually stronger earlier on in our trajectories than later. Because I think in the beginning, we're like, oh, I just started watercolor painting. I'm going to paint them a picture. Or, oh, I just started quilting. I'm going to make them a quilt. Or, oh, I just started doing X. So I'm going to make them a crocheted dog.
Yeah.
And I think actually we're hungrier to make for others when we're earlier.
Excited about the making.
Well, and I think we're still excited as we progress, but I think we get more selective about how we invest our creative time. So I think in the beginning, it's like the full fire hose. I want to make all the time for everybody and also show off my new hobby.
Right.
Like, look what I'm learning how to do. And then as we enter more of a mastery phase of our creative ventures, we're like, well, maybe I'll make this, but I'm not going to do this because I'd rather invest my time here or my finances here, or I know the person and they won't appreciate it the way I would like, which we're going to touch on too.
Do you find that like I feel pressure to do something me made in some way because I know all the people at this shower and they're like my mom's friends. They all see what I do. They all know what I do. And they're all like, what is Bethany going to, like, they get excited to see what I'm going to bring. And I love that. But it's like, so like that basket, they were like, oh my gosh, I love that basket. And I'm like, I'm not making anybody else a basket. Like, this is for my nephew's toys when he gets older and that's what they use it for. But like, again, I feel the pressure from other people besides who I'm just making it for sometimes.
Yeah, because I think you've branded yourself as something, so they expect that's what the brand should be.
I know. When I showed up to his first birthday party with the little toy car, I literally went the night before to get it because I was just like running around like crazy. And my son helped me pick it out. I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
This is what he's getting. Like, I didn't do anything me made. And it was okay.
Yeah.
It's probably the first time I've not taken something me made.
The world will not end if you do not give a handmade gift.
Yeah.
It truly won't. And so I think really when it comes to the have to versus want to of making for others, it's honoring your creative interests, honoring your desires,
your time,
and
other commitments.
Yep. Honoring your budget. And this is going to be our like princess reference of channel Elsa when you give it and let it go. Because ultimately you see it a lot, a chatter on social media, etc. of like, I spent 100 hours making this quilt. I spent hundreds of dollars making this quilt. And I went over to their house and it was on the dog bed.
Or in the closet.
And people are just heartbroken. And I 1,000% understand why you're heartbroken because you put your heart into this project and you're not seeing that reciprocated equally. But I think we have to understand that just because we put our heart into something doesn't mean that person is going to reciprocate in the manner in which you expect. So you have to let it go. And
it's hard.
It is so
It's hard when you invest so much time and energy and building your skill set and really putting a lot of thought into the gift. And there's been people that have made comments before where they're like, I gave something to someone and they never used it, or, did they not like it? You're scared to ask if they like it later on because you never see them carry the bag or use the blanket or set it out or whatever. And I just tell them, I'm like, if you had bought something from the store for them and not made them something and you gave it to them, would you follow up with them and go, are you using that? How are you, did you, is it, did you re-gift it? Like, you don't ask that. So you have to kind of have that mindset of, letting it go. Like, I gave my love to it. I poured my love into it. But now that it's leaving my hands and I'm passing it on to them, I cannot control what they do with it or how they react to it or how they use it. I can't. I can just control my enjoyment of having made it and be proud of it.
Yeah. And it's really all you can do.
Yeah.
So that's our advice when making for others is honor your interests, honor your time, honor your budget, and let it go.
Now, what about those random requests about hemming this, fixing this? I get it all the time. Outside of my dad, obviously, but like you had an example the other day, you were telling me about, a prom dress that's covered in sequins or something. And you're like, I mean, I could, but why would I? Like, that's a different type of sewing, in my opinion. That's alterations. That's a whole different thing. And while we probably could absolutely do it, it's not what we do on a day to day. Well, and it would create so much stress for me to do that.
Yeah. And I think it's also just honoring what you can and can't do.
Because you have a sewing machine and you know how to use it does not mean you have to say yes to everything that someone brings to your plate. Because they're not meaning to be like assuming that you can do it all. But it's okay to say like, oh, that sounds, something I don't feel like I can do. Like I don't have the time, or my machine's not capable, or I've actually never worked with sequins before. I know they're challenging. Like there's an opportunity to kind of educate them on this really is something that's more tailored towards being a professional doing it. A lot of people just want something quick and easy, but they don't understand that it's not quick and easy. Well, it's an education opportunity.
And, a quick final point here is that's because we make it look easy.
I know.
So a lot of, we talk about how much we love it. We show off our wares and we make it look easy. Yeah. So then people ask like, hey, can you do this? Because for them, they think it's no big deal. But the reality is there actually is a fair bit of work behind it. But we've made it look so like, this is just a very casual thing. And sometimes it's not.
No.
So selfish plug. I actually created, I actually made a PDF to talk just about this because I was battling some of this internally. So Dreamy Studio, if you sign up for my newsletter, I created a free PDF and I called it the Realistic Project Planner.
I love this.
And it kind of walks through like what you should evaluate when deciding if you're going to do a project, both for others or just straight up for yourself.
I was just going to say that. Like, I feel like, because we had talked about just because it's trending and you see everybody else making it, you don't have to make it.
Yeah.
Do you really want to make it, or are you just enjoying watching other people make it in the reels and the videos? And
we talk about that. I think we're talking about this in our next episode.
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I'll save it. But again, I feel like I could use this and I could really use this before I even purchase a pattern.
True.
You know how many patterns I've bought and I'm like, I'm never going to make these because I buy them, I put them in my Google Drive, and then I kind of forget about them because I'm so busy. I'm like, oh, I'll do it later. And then it's been years and I have a huge collection of patterns.
Oh, I found a dress I bought 3 years ago in my email last week. A dress pattern I bought 3 years ago.
Do you still like it, or is it not for you anymore? Because I have found a few. I'm like, gosh, why did I buy that?
Yeah, it's
I would
cute.
not make that now.
I might make it.
That's where the trendy stuff comes in, right?
Yeah, but I don't know when. So I'm like, dang. I'm like, oh, I bought this. This is not what I remember. But
it caught your eye in a moment. Mm-hmm. And I am an impulse pattern purchaser.
Same.
Especially when they first release it and they run it on sale that first few days. Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, I should just go ahead and get it now. Like, I'll make it eventually. Will I? And that applies to garments and quilting and bags and all of it.
I'm definitely getting more selective. I used to buy, buy. And I'm definitely getting more selective because I'm realizing that I have this massive pattern stash that it'll take me years to go through.
My lifetime.
And that's
I'll never finish them all.
Probably.
Because there will be something new and I'll end up buying it.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yep.
But this PDF is wonderful. So we'll put a link to Audra's website to sign up for her newsletter so you can get it.
It's free.
It's a free PDF. It's great. It's like a little worksheet. It's just and then when you do decide to make it, there's a little project planner as well. So you can go through and go, do I have everything to be able to make this right now? Maybe I need to wait until I have all the supplies before I commit to the pattern. Because again, I may not really...
Yeah.
It's trying to prevent the impulse.
Trying to. Slow down before we jump into the creative pool. Decide if we really want to make it. So I think we have Sewcial Spotlight this episode?
We do. Ooh. So every episode we have a different little sewing segment that we're going to rotate through. And this one is Sewcial Spotlight, where we basically highlight someone that we're following on social media that, for whatever reason, we just feel like sharing with you. And this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
These are super random. So I'm excited. I'll go first. Christine Hebert of Modern Charm Stitchery. I met Christine. She came on the Caterpillar live virtual event that I did. And so I got to really know her from that. I've been following her for a while, but it was exciting to work with her on that project. She came and we did a fun little like podcast style Q&A on the live. She shared her process of getting involved in quilt design and where her inspiration comes from and the resources she used to learn how to do quilt design, which she gave some great information. And so it was fun to like learn from her. But she's so sweet. But she had also launched a brand new quilt pattern that same day that she was on our live. Nice. And it's the Fairy Tale Frogs. It is absolutely adorable. And I love it. They have little crowns. They're so stinking cute. And you can make one block into a pillow. You can make several blocks into like a runner or something, or you could do like a full quilt and it comes in a bunch of different sizes. It's super, super sweet. And she has some great patterns.
And it like ties into our Disney princess theme.
It kind of does.
A Tiana something to go with the princess frog.
Yes.
And
it's very like unisex, like with it, but there were some of the testers that made it more boy, and there were some of the testers that made it more girl with your fabric choices. So I really loved seeing all the different versions. So I'm excited to see what else she creates. She's got some fun patterns. We've been kind of planning some things because I was like, oh, I would love a pattern. Like she's got some really cool designs. And so anyways, go check her out. I'll link her in the show notes and we'll put a link to her over in the Sewcial Hour, the Sewcial Sewist Facebook group. So you guys can go follow her. But it's Modern Charm Stitchery with Christine.
That's great.
Yeah. Awesome. What about you?
Mine is Teresa Coates. Teresa Coates is an incredible quilt educator. She travels the country. She was previously the national educator for Shannon Fabrics. And her and Hawk, her partner, travel the country teaching. Her elemental coat pattern is everywhere and it's amazing. And part of the reason I'm plugging this, again, is a selfish plug, is because my mom and I are going to her retreat in June.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's the third week in June in Agency, Missouri. And she still has a few spots left in this retreat. And she's teaching, Hawk is teaching. The retreat center is the Art Nest Retreat in Agency, Missouri. It looks amazing. So I can't say enough incredible things about Teresa. If she's coming to your area, make sure to check out her classes. If you want to go hang out with my mom and I and learn from Teresa and Hawk at the retreat, we'd love to hang out with you. And so that's my plug. Teresa is she is incredibly knowledgeable, wonderful person. And if you can catch one of her classes, I can't say enough good things. And again, we'll tag her in the comments.
Yeah, we absolutely will. And we'll share the retreat information in our Sewcial Sewist Facebook group for sure. So if anybody wants to grab one of those last few spots, retreats are wonderful. It's such a great opportunity to learn with others and make some friends. So even if you go by yourself and you don't know anyone, you will leave with a bunch of new friends. New knowledge.
We have a whole episode coming up on retreats.
I know, we do. I have a strong passion for retreats. I love them.
Well, and this retreat is actually going to be my first one.
Really?
Like I've taken a ton of like day classes
and
or
expos
weekend classes or attended expos, but I've never actually gone to a retreat. So my mom and I are doing a retreat together. This was a few Christmases ago. We decided that the gift to each other, because we don't need stuff.
Memories.
Is to go to a retreat together.
Making
so we decided
memories.
to do Teresa's retreat together.
Do you know what you're making?
No, I really gotta figure that out. My mom is like already, she's ready to go. She's like, I think I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna take this. And I'm like, I have no idea. It is in the third week in June. I'll figure it out.
You got time.
Dave and I have a fairly big trip coming up, so I will think about it after the trip.
I get that. I get that. All right, so that's our Sewcial Spotlight for this week. So be sure you go check both of them out, give them a follow. You'll love to see it.
Oh, I think this is easy. Recording together. I think we both were like, our you love to see it is being able to sit on a couch and record together.
This is fun. It's a different vibe.
Yeah.
But it's not that like I don't love recording when we get to and we're in our separate homes. But it is a different vibe. And I hope we get to do this a few times a year. Yeah. It's hard because we're in different states, but I think it's doable.
We should try to make it work.
We should. If you guys are enjoying this, know that it can't happen every week, obviously. It's too cold for me to live up here in Wisconsin. It was literally snowing the other day, and I left Tennessee and it was 80 degrees, and I'm like, what is... But anyway, so we love doing this. We'll definitely make it a priority. You come to Nashville sometimes to visit family. So when we're back and forth, we'll definitely take up the opportunity to do these when we can. But
yeah, we'll figure it out, because I know you don't love the cold, but our Wisconsin summers.
I will come for summer.
Our Wisconsin summers are chef's kiss. They're nothing like it.
Okay.
So.
Well, we'll make it happen. We have some things planned this year. I think one of the things that I love the most about us getting to spend this time together is the amount of like, Walter's giving us a little jiggle. He woke up from his nap. He's like, okay, are we done yet? I think it's been like the opportunity for us to do some deep dive planning for the podcast. We had a really fun like photo shoot, which I'm excited about, like all of that. So just getting to like build our relationship even more and spend quality time together has been my favorite part. So.
Yeah, it's been great.
All right, guys. Next week, we're talking about...
There's Walter.
There's Walter. You see his little noggin? He's the sweetest little thing.
So
I'm his new best friend because I put gravy in his food the other night. Anyways,
he loves it.
Next week, we're talking about comparison trap.
Yep, comparison trap.
And that's a deep conversation.
And it goes well beyond sewing.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Thanks so much. Bye.